Aussies rejoice, there's a new sprint queen in the Freeman household. After mom, Cathy, won Olympic gold in the 400 meters in her home games back in Sydney in 2000, her 11-year-old daughter seems to be heading in the same direction if a recent school athletics event is anything to go by. Today, we are discussing Freeman's daughter obliterating the field in her recent school carnival event, plus other athletics bits. Stay tuned. Let's get into it then. What happened? Cathy Freeman won the hearts of Australians back in 2000 as she went one better on her Atlanta 1996 performance by winning gold in Sydney. And now it seems as though there could be another Freeman track star in the making, as her young daughter has recently taken first place by a considerable distance at her local track in Murrumbeena. The 200-meter event was dominated by Freeman Jr. as she finished miles ahead of her classmates, drawing instant comparisons to the relaxed style made famous by her Olympian mother. And it seems as though the youngster could develop into quite the all-rounder, as she not only took part in the 200 meters, but the 100 meters as well as the relay and high jump. Fans will remember the look of anguish on Cathy's face as she won gold, as she later revealed she was disappointed she hadn't run faster. In front of more than 100,000 fans, she ran 49.11 to bag gold, but claimed she was actually looking for a sub-48-second time. She said shortly after the epic run, "Another thing that burns away at me is I know I could have run faster than what I actually have, but that's fine," before going on to say that ultimately she was not happy, even after winning Olympic gold. Perfectionists, am I right? However, her performance was obviously good enough to ensure her place in the Sport Australia Hall of Fame, which she was included to last year. Bravo, Cathy. Next up, some sad news to report from the Bahamas. Stay with us. Bahamian sprinter Shavy Hart was shot and killed last week in a bar fight. Apparently, the 2013 CAC Championships gold medalist was attempting to break up a fight outside a bar in his native Bahamas Saturday, when one of the men involved took a gun from his car and shot Hart. The 29-year-old was pronounced dead at hospital a short time later. The Bahamas Olympic Committee said in a statement earlier this week, the Olympic family is saddened to learn of the sudden passing of Shavy Hart, a proud native of Abaco. He was always very humble yet proud and determined to offer the very best of himself for the sake of the country. Hart, whose 100-meter personal best was 10.10, won gold for his country in the 4x100 meters at the Central American and Caribbean Championships, also bagging a silver in the 4x400 meter relay at the World Indoor Championships in 2016. Also a 10-time All-American during his time at Texas A&M University, with a university spokesman saying, "This is so tragic. Shavy Hart was of course one of our finest athletes ever, but he was one of the kindest people I have met, and such a soft-spoken man. Words can't describe the loss that the Aggie track and field family is feeling. My thoughts and prayers are with his family." So sad. What do you guys make of this? We're talking Grant Fisher next. Stay tuned. After his disappointment at the World Championships this summer in Eugene, Oregon, Grant Fisher may feel as though he had a point to prove. And boy, has he proven it since. In his 2 meetings since Oregon, he has bettered 2 American records in the 3,000-meter and 5,000-meter distance events. The 3,000 record came in Monaco on August 10, with the man himself saying, "Going into the race, the American record was 7:29 flat, and I've never run anywhere close to that. I had to convince myself that I was in the kind of fitness to chase something like that," before saying, "I thought that on a perfect night I could run around 7:29 flat," which of course he managed with a time of 7:28.48. In the 5K in Brussels recently, he managed to slash the American record by just under 7 seconds, as he put in the performance of his life to record the 12th fastest time in history with a super run of 12:46.96. Admitting that the race was particularly difficult afterwards, he went on to say, "You know, sometimes you have 5Ks where it really doesn't start hurting until later, but that one, we were riding the line from the gun. The pacing was perfect. We were running like 61 high pretty much the entire race. I just had one gear essentially, but thankfully it was a fast gear." Incredible performances from Fisher. Give us your thoughts below. Some news from Zurich next. Stick around. Mondo Duplantis has made history this week at Vitklasse, as he set a new meeting record whilst also bettering the world record yet again. Sweden's Duplantis won a second diamond trophy with his performance, and it is the 3rd time this year he has actually bettered the world pole vault record. record. And speaking about his excellent year and what his performance in Zurich means to him, he described it as the perfect cherry on top. He has now jumped 6 meters or more on 54 different occasions, which is quite incredible when you think about it. The Swede came into the competition at 5.62 meters, which he easily made on his first go, before passing 5.72 and then 5.81 meters, as well as 5.86 meters. And speaking about his impressive night's work, Duplantis said, "If I came into this competition and I didn't perform well, the whole season, which was so amazing, wouldn't feel as good as it should feel." Of course, it's great to see he still has that competitive edge, even after what he has achieved this season, and he went on to say how he always believes he is able to jump at least 6 meters, adding that he will have the same goals next year, whilst also trying to crank it up another notch, and we don't doubt that he can. What did you guys think of his insane jumps? The issue of sustainability has also come up in Zurich. Stay with us to hear about it. More and more athletes are voicing their concerns when it comes to climate change these days, with 3/4 of them claiming that the issue has actually impacted the sport. Surveys carried out at the Worlds this summer highlighted the need for sport and the organizations that govern it to figure out a way in which athletics can become more sustainable. At the Weltklasse Zurich meeting this week, Christopher Joho, the co-meeting director, spoke of how sport needs to clearly understand what they are doing to worsen the issue and how they can improve it. He said, "If you don't respond or position yourself in the right direction, you will become irrelevant. For younger generations, this is the key because it is their future." And he wasn't the only one. World Athletics President Seb Coe suggested that young people are looking at organizations such as his and asking themselves if they are really doing all they can to combat the problem, and also if these bigger organizations are reflecting the world they live in. Coe went on to say, "For me, the issue is that younger people are sitting at the crossroads of all the big moral hotspots in a way that previous generations didn't. They're very much more attuned to it. Hopefully this means these organizations will do something about the problem rather than just talk about it like most organizations around the world have simply done for decades." What do you guys make of this? And finally, we're talking Joe Kovacs. The big American recently moved to second on the all-time record list, and after his throw of 23.23 meters in Lausanne, Kovacs said that it was about time. Of course, he has also won 2 golds at the World Championships in the past, in 2015 in Beijing and 2019 in Doha. And this week in Zurich, he went head-to-head with his compatriot Ryan Krauser in a street event in Sechselaudenplatz, winning his second diamond trophy as he managed to edge out his countrymen. With Krauser back after suffering from long COVID, Kovacs was able to take top spot, and after the event, he said, "I'm super excited. I had so many throws this year over 22.80 meters, so I feel like I was building and building." The event was actually Krauser's first outdoor defeat in 3 years, and Kovacs went on to big his opponent up by saying, "It feels good to finally tick the box and be a 23-meter shot putter. There is a bigger throw left in there. I know that Ryan will throw farther, so I will have to throw even farther next year. Now with a throw of 23 meters, my goal for next year is to be able to achieve 23.50 meters. As usual, thanks for dropping in on us today, and remember to tune in again next time when we will be discussing all sorts of other cool bits and pieces. And why not do us a solid by liking and sharing today's video? Bye guys!